shareholder value alone is not good enough anymore. So what's driving this change?
Yeah, look, if you think back to 1970, the essays written at the time was that the purpose of business social responsibility was to increase profits, which in itself isn't a bad thing, but contextually that's adapted and changed in 5 decades. And those businesses you referenced before are saying, really, we need to deliver value to all our key stakeholders, and that's shareholders, customers, employees, suppliers, and communities. So really, it's looking at value in different ways. That's what that drives down to.
And look, it seems to be a very positive move, a step in a direction where it's going to be a lot more humanistic, hopefully.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, companies like Shabani got this earlier years ago. They started investing into communities where their employees live and work. And you find that where businesses do that and pay bigger attention, the rewards and dividends come back greater as a result of paying attention to all these aspects and not just looking at the results or the bottom line alone.
Yeah, and we spoke in the top there about the 200 CEOs publicly saying they're changing the way they do things. Obviously, we've been in a pandemic as well, and so many companies and everybody has had to basically change what we do. Good and bad results coming through this post-pandemic. What sort of changes do you think are going to remain? Because a lot of companies are really excited about what they've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think introspectively, a lot of people have been looking during this period at their values and what's really valuable. And that's something we can expect to see filter through to businesses beyond this as well. So really reestablishing what's their vision, what's their mission, what are those values within a business, and then how do they bring those values alive and diffuse it throughout a whole organization? Because that's really where the impact kicks off. So I think just looking at the way they reward, recognize, remunerate people within businesses, so they're looking at those behaviours and values and not just the results.
Because there's such a direct relationship, isn't there, Mark? Like there is, look, not only just the basic premise that you should treat people well, but it will come back to you in spades if you do. And if you don't, it comes at a heavy, heavy cost, not only for the individuals being treated in that manner, but it splashes back in the face of the organisation.
100%. There's this secret ingredient that they call discretionary effort. And in the economy we're in, the experience economy we're in, that's really a magic ingredient. But there's a clue in the word. It's discretionary. You can't ask for it, you can't demand it, but you tap into it by adding value to your customers, your employees, and that's where it comes back. So it's just looking more broadly at how you can treat your employees, thinking about the challenges that they now face in the current times. Like two-parent working families, thinking about how they can accommodate balancing life, home, and work. Encouraging employees to pay them time to support the causes they love. Atlassian do that. They do something like 5 days paid leave for all their employees to go and work for the causes hands-on that they want to support. And when you do these sorts of mechanisms, that's where the values infuse. And as you say, Tim, the results come back, it pays back in dividends.
And getting back to the situation with lockdown and many people having to work from home, perhaps this has been a really valuable time for perhaps people that maybe more introvert and don't sort of go to their bosses and be more of an extrovert. So they're seeing different values, as you mentioned before, and the way they work is shining more perhaps than compared to when they're in the office.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an adjustment period, right? Because a lot of people, the start of this is working from home. Unless you're used to it, it's a significant shift in itself. And I think this is where also the qualities of leaders is important here, to really be more attentive to working at creating individual pathways for the people in their team and being more attentive to the individual nature of that person. And also the traits of leadership. We started saying 5 decades ago, the mantra of business is different. And so the traits of leaders, really. We've got to look at instilling more empathy and focus on the individuals. I think that's what we can see as well with businesses moving out of this.
We've never heard the word pivot, agile, nimble used quite so much in any of our lives, but they have been, and they have been because it's been appropriate. Now, we see that you're in Melbourne. A lot of your work is standing up in front of people, and at the moment, and it's slowly opening, but you haven't been able to stand in front of anyone and you've been in lockdown. What's it been like for you in your business?
Yeah, I guess I'm fortunate. Professionally, I'm a learning and development professional. And for over 2 years, I actually once worked with a conference and company where everything we did was virtual and remote. So this environment for me personally is one I'm quite used to. And plus, I'm resourced up digitally. The challenge, though, is more that businesses have been on this shifting sands of uncertainty and not knowing really what to do. And so, I'll be able to function more appropriately. I can function digitally very well, and it's amazing, value production you can bring to events like this. So you're not just a talking head. However, we're human beings as well. And once we get back to those live events, Tim, I'm sure you'll know as well, we'll thrive back to that and race back to that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you've got a great CV. You're an author, a corporate trainer, expert in human behaviour. Mark, for people that are struggling, perhaps they've lost their job, they're not kind of sure which path to go down, what would you give? I know it's a big answer, but what could they start doing perhaps?
Yeah, I think this has been a great time, and certainly I've actually been working with people on this during this period. It's a great time to actually look at yourself and actually work on yourself, be kind to yourself, and actually invest in yourself. Reevaluate what is it that you really want to do? What do you enjoy doing? And even using this time wisely to upskill yourself, because skills are more transferable now than ever before. And so if you develop yourself and keep working on yourself, then those pathways are going to open up as a natural result. So I would say just be kind to yourself, invest in yourself, and don't be shy asking for help as well, because some people are a bit shy doing that.
It's a great message, and stay confident, isn't it, Mark? And this is particularly targeted to younger people. Stay confident and believe in yourself, because in this country, and it's been said forever, but there's so much opportunity. You just got to get out there and perspire. If someone knocks you back, go and talk to someone else.
I love that, absolutely. There's an old quote I love by Epictetus, a classic philosopher. And he said, it's not what happens that's important, it's how you choose to respond. And, it's the only thing we can ever control. Control's an absolute illusion. The only thing we're in control of at any moment in time is our mindset and our reaction and our choices to what's going on. So I think, Tim, to your point, I agree with that 100%. There's so much opportunity. We just kind of calmness is power. Look at the world differently and just choose your reactions wisely.
Absolutely. And another big word that we're hearing is resilience, which is exactly what we need in times like this. Thank you so much, Mark. Author, corporate trainer, expert in human behaviour. It's really great to chat to you, and you stay well in Melbourne.
Thanks, Janie, and Tim. Thanks very much for having me on.